To start, we're going to need some fleece, cotton and flannel. The fleece is for the back of the pad and the cotton is for the top. I like to use flannel for the core, but you can also use toweling or bamboo fleece or zorb. We're also going to need some scissors, pins and a pen. I also use some sort of chopstick or knitting needle, anything that can be used to turn the pad inside out later on. Finally, you will need a pattern for both the shape of the pad and the core. I have a set of patterns available on my Etsy store, which I will link in the description box. Before I start tracing the pattern, I like to iron all of my fabrics. Here I've started by tracing the pattern onto the cotton. This is the pattern for the perimeter of the pad. Now I'm just going to cut out the topping fabric using a normal pair of fabric scissors. Next, we're just going to trace the core onto the flannel or whatever material you are using. The number of layers you use will determine whether the pad is light, medium or heavy. This time I'm just using 3 layers of flannel, and I'm just going to pin the 3 layers together. Next, we're going to cut out the backing fabric. So I've just laid the topping cotton onto the fleece and I just cut around it. Now you should have the topper, the backer and the core. Now we are going to sew around the perimeter of the core to secure the layers together. Position, then pin the core onto the wrong side of the topping fabric. Now do a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch around the perimeter of the core. The core should now be secured to the topper. Now place the backing fabric, which is the fleece, and the topping fabric right sides together. Once you are happy with the placement, pin the pieces of fabric together. You will want to leave a space about this wide for turning the fabric inside out later. Now sew around the perimeter of the pad. Remember to leave the space mentioned previously. To ensure that my sewing is neat, I just sew along the pink line that I drew earlier. You can use normal or zigzag scissors to cut off the excess fabric. When you get to the region that you left open, do not cut too close to the edge. Leave a little flap. Now I like to cut each of the corners to make sure that the pad looks very neat when turned out. You should now have something that looks like this. Turn the pad inside out through the hole that you left earlier. Take the knitting needle or chopstick and turn out the edges. This ensures that the curves and wings of the pad look neat. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and iron the pad. Finally, we sew around the edge of the pad. This makes it look neat and also ensures that you close the hole that you left earlier. If you wish, you can use buttons. Here I'm using plastic snaps for the closure of the pad. I like to first measure the approximate distance that I would like the snaps to be located. Then I puncture a hole into the fabric on both of the wings. Finally, I insert the snaps. this point, your pad is finished.